I'm fascinated by this psalm that David writes, and it's a prayer. It's a prayer about David's time whenever he was a shepherd of sheep, and he compares this relationship that we have between God as our shepherd and then us as these lowly sheep that are in need of God. And Psalm 23, 1-3 says this. This is a really well-known psalm. It says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake." I want to zero in on this verse, though, this next verse. It's verse 4. It says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." I love this because David knows, probably more than lots of people, that life is full of suffering, that life is full of those darkest valley kind of moments. David had lots of moments of suffering. He had lots of moments of sin, temptation, suffering that was brought on by his own choices, and suffering that just happened because of being in a fallen and broken world. So he writes this, and he writes it from experience, that even though I walk through the darkest valley, here's the thing about the darkest valley, is that they are inevitable. They're a part of this life. You can't walk through life without going through the darkest valley. You and I are experiencing this right now. Maybe your mental health is your darkest valley kind of moment. Maybe you just got a diagnosis. Maybe the relationships right now, either between your spouse, between your parents, between you and your children, or you and your siblings or your friends, maybe you're having some kind of a relationship breakdown right now. Maybe the finances are in such a bad spot that you genuinely do not know how you are going to make ends meet. Maybe right now feels like a darkest valley kind of moment. I just want to stop for a second and tell you that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're walking through that. I also want to encourage you with the fact that you're not alone, that what you're going through is actually a part of this life that all of us are going to experience. But here's the encouraging part, and this is the part that David knew well because of his own experience. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, you're not meant to live in the darkest valley. You don't set up camp and stay a while in the darkest valley. In fact, in this relationship between a sheep and a shepherd, the sheep are responsible for following their shepherd, and their shepherd's not going to have them set up camp in the darkest valley. The shepherd is going to lead the sheep through the darkest valley and out of the darkest valley. It's why people say this phrase, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because you're not meant to stay in the tunnel. You're moving through the tunnel. David knew this. We will know this as well. The darkest valleys are a part of life, but the darkest valleys are not an end destination. God leads us through the darkest valley, and we will fear no evil because God is with us. He doesn't abandon us in the darkest valley. He's with us in the darkest valley, and he is leading us through the darkest valley. Your experience of hardship is not forever, and you are not without God's presence. God is always with you. He is always with you. His rod and his staff, they comforted David. They comfort us. His rod and his staff, that shepherd's staff that you can see so well in your imagination, it's used to keep you on track, to keep you out of harm's way, to keep other people out of your way, other evil forces out of your way. It has that little hook on the end so that when God needs to, he can wrap that around your neck and your body, or pull you back from that thing that you really think you want, but it's actually not that good for you. The Lord is your shepherd. You lack nothing. He makes you to lie down in green pastures. He leads you beside quiet waters. He restores your soul. He restores your soul. Even though you walk through the darkest valley, you don't have to fear evil because God is with you. His rod and his staff, they comfort you. Your darkest valley is not forever, and you have the presence of God with you every step of the way.